Installing artificial turf may sound like a daunting task, but it can actually be a very simple process. After years of gathering contractor and customer feedback from projects all over the country, Artificial Turf Supply has developed the most detailed and comprehensive installation guide out there. Our instructions are broken down into 3 key areas: project planning, ground preparation, and artificial turf installation. In this video, we will guide you through every step of the way, showing you how the installation process can be easy and smooth. You'll want to allow 2 to 3 days for most projects less than 1,500 square feet, but this will vary based on project size, location, your crew, and experience level. Something to note before you start your installation is to be mindful of the weather. Artificial grass should only be installed at 50 degrees Fahrenheit and above. Today, our weather is great and we are good to go. Before you begin, make sure you have all the necessary tools ready. Power tools can be substituted with hand tools to make the process easier and more efficient, but it isn't necessary. When designing the size and shape of your turf area, keep in mind that all the turf rolls are 15 feet wide and up to 100 feet long. Multiple rolls or pieces of turf can be seamed together to create larger widths if necessary. The idea here is to have as few seams as possible. This will allow for a beautiful, realistic lawn. To determine the amount of turf you'll need, multiply the area's width and length based on 15-foot wide rolls, and be sure to allow extra turf for any trimming and seaming. We don't show this step in the video today, but you'll want to check your area for irrigation heads. Once identified, be sure to cap them off or remove them before you start the install. Now let's talk about bordering. Different bordering options will enhance the appearance of your fake grass and add a nice frame around the turf. Curbing, decorative rock, mulch, and bender boards are several ideas that work really nicely. Use your imagination here and get creative. To prep your ground for the installation, remove any unwanted vegetation like grass or sod using a sod cutter, hoe, or shovel. Then clear the space of any remaining items such as large rocks or roots. Here, we are using gopher wire along with weed barrier fabric. Some projects will require you to apply a weed killer and a grass blocker spray first to ensure that no vegetation will grow under the turf in the future. You may also use a weed barrier material by cutting it to size and using sod staples to hold it in place. For pat applications, we do not recommend using weed barrier fabric as this has the potential to absorb urine, which can cause unwanted odor buildup over time. The base you select is important because it provides drainage while still maintaining a solid surface. Depending on the base you use, it can allow drainage up to 12 inches of water per hour. We recommend using a 3/4 inch down to 1/4 inch crushed drain rock as your primary base, and then fines smaller parts as a top coat. In our project, we are using Class 2 road base for the first layer and decomposed granite for the fine layer. Now you'll spread the sub-base material all around the area and even it out using the back of a bow rake or similar tool. With a landscape rake, you're going to rough grade the area. You want to make sure that you allow for the correct base depth. Though sub-base heights may vary from project to project, the standard is 4 inch below the finished grade for outdoor projects. In this project, our base is a total of 5 inches, 4 inch Class 2 base and 1 inch decomposed granite. Next, it's time to install your selected edge. We chose to use bender board for our project today. Once you have spread the sub-base material around, use a hose to lightly wash off the area. Then, compact it with a plate compactor or a heavy drum roller. Keep making passes over the project area until you have it compacted adequately. As you can see here, we went over it many times. And now for the fine layer of the base. Even though it might look like sand, the finer material is not sand. Please do not use sand as your top layer, as sand may shift over time, creating wrinkles in your turf. Spread the material around and even it out using the back of a bow rake or similar tool, just like you did for the rough grading. Eliminate bumps and holes from your sub-base as best as you can. The goal with this is to make the fine grading as smooth as possible while still remaining solid. You might have to wet the area a little bit and use a compactor several times to reach the proper compaction rate. Use a sod roller or a plate compactor type of tool to tightly compact the sub-base up to 95%. The final base should be 1.5 inches below the top of your border. Now that we've gone over project planning and ground prep, it's time to start working with the turf. First, you're going to roll the turf out over a clean, flat surface or the prepared base, but be careful not to drag it across the sub-base. Then, lay another turf roll next to the first one. Make sure that the fiber blades or grain of the artificial turf are going the same direction you determined in your planning design. Let the artificial turf sit out in the sun for a couple of hours to relax. This allows the grass blades to stand upright and allows any wrinkles in the backing to settle. Next, we will start seaming our turf rolls together. For projects requiring seams, this is probably the most critical part of the installation process, so please pay close attention and take your time here. Mark where your seam will be with a chalk line. Using your cutting tool, cut at least 1 or 2 tuft rows off of both the rolls you're seaming together, leaving about a 1/16 inch to 1/8 inch gap between rolls. Don't overlap the rolls. The goal is to create the same distance between the tuft rows in the seaming area as in the manufactured area. Fold back the edges of each turf roll and place the seaming material down, dull side up. Make sure the seam application area is clean and free of oil and debris. Lay down the turf edges. Then, firmly press the seam area, ensuring contact between both surfaces. Now you need to secure the perimeter by taking the 6-inch galvanized nails or galvanized sod staples and putting them in every 6 to 10 inches around the edges. For the best results, use a carpet kicker to ensure it's tight around the perimeter before securing the perimeter. Now it's time to custom cut the turf to fit your space. Whether you have a winding path, old border, or new curb, artificial turf can be specially tailored to fit your space. To do this, you will need a carpet cutting knife or a razor knife. Next step is to apply the infill. Clear turf of any debris using a blower or broom. Today, we are using antimicrobial coated sand that's green in color. This allows the area to look more natural and blend with the turf while helping to keep the surface free of bacteria and odors. Apply the infill evenly everywhere using either a drop spreader or a broadcast spreader. Brush or comb the artificial turf with your desired tools such as a power broom, push broom, backside of rake, or carpet comb. Now all that's left are the finishing touches. Using a power broom, leaf blower, push broom, or plastic rake, you can quickly agitate the blades of artificial grass to make your turf look perfect. And now, you have successfully installed a stunning new turf lawn.
Thanks so much for joining us on our home turf project with Artificial Turf Supply. We absolutely love the finished product from start to finish, and now it's a wrap and we're ready to enjoy it with our whole family.